Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today we're going to be looking at the Barbarian skill known as Iron Skin. Iron Skin is a passive ability which can be utilized by any Barbarian really, and quite honestly is just a no-brainer as terms of points. I think just about every Barbarian out there probably puts 1 point into Iron Skin, if not for the defensive bonus itself, but also for the natural resistance, which comes after Iron Skin. Now, Iron Skin's passive defense bonus increase is unfortunately not affected by any other form of defense bonus increase. So for instance, if I was using Shout, Defiance, Fortitude's Chilling Armor, there are a lot of different things that can affect defense, and Iron Skin is of course one of them, but they do not stack on top of each other. And this is important to note because for things like my defense that I have right now, you have to know what your base number of your defense is. Now, your base defense is more important than just about any other form of defense that you have, because everything is being multiplied by those base numbers. When you add even the tiniest bit of defense to a build which already has a massive amount of bonus in form of, for instance, Defiance, Shout, Chilling Armor, Iron Skin, and all those other interesting things, you are applying a larger amount of defense than you think. So when you say, for instance, upgrade a helmet or upgrade a pair of gloves, and all you get is 20 defense from those particular, from that particular upgrade, don't think about it so much as oh, well, I've lost, level requirement, or I need more stats or something like that. Think about it more in terms of how much defense you're gaining after the multiplication. To give that an example of this, I'm going to show you what it's like to increase the defense by a small number and still end up with a very nice amount. So let's take, for instance, my boy here, who is Sanic the Hooge Hag. Sanic the Hooge Hag has a relatively nice amount of defense. He is running 9,945, right? So 9,945 defense. We're going to give him a small bump in his defense by upgrading his Inferno Shrines, which are 105 defense, to the Elite version, which is slightly higher. To do this, we're going to need a Lem Rune, we're going to need a Co Rune, and we're going to need a Perfect Diamond, and also a Roger Cube, which my character is unfortunately missing. But that's okay. We've got other characters that we can utilize for this. So let's go ahead and go over to our immortal King Barbarian, who is still rocking his dual patriarchs, which the video for that will be up eventually, and you guys will be able to see my video on the patriarchs. But this is what the patriarch look like. Patriarch looks like in its Colossus Blade form, which is kind of funny. So let's go ahead and upgrade these Inferno Strides. And they're going to go from 105 defense to 150, right? So we've got 45 extra defense added to this. Now we had 9,400 and some odd on a Sonic the Hooge Hag, right? And we have all our multiplication going on. So we've got our Shout, we've got our Iron Skin, and all these are affecting the amount of defense that we have. But now we're getting 45 extra defense. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, 45 extra defense isn't a whole lot. It's not going to add very much to the Barbarian. But because the Barbarian has all these different modifiers, which are, of course, increasing his defense by rather large numbers, that 45 translates out to a rather large amount. As you can see, I've gone from the previous number, which I forgot in my head now, to 10,134. I can also further complicate this by putting on something like Fortitude, and I can go out and I can multiply the numbers even more by getting the procs for Fortitude. And I'm going to run around so that my defense is negated. If you guys are unaware, when you run, your defense does go down to 0. As you can see, it goes to line. I seem to have bugged out the game, though. This is Sonic the Hooge Hag, by the way, and he runs really freaking fast. In fact, he even walks really really fast. And this is actually a strategy that you can use on a high defense character, as you can get your run and your walk speed up so high that literally your walk speed is faster than most people can run. And Barbarian is one of the few classes that can do this, of course, because he has abilities like increased speed. He also has Frenzy, which can increase his speed as well, and he can utilize other items, like, for instance, the Inferno Strides, which have the ability to increase your speed through the new effect on Blaze. Now, these are cheated-in Inferno Strides. Don't take these as real ones. I wanted to test out what it was like to have level 63 Blaze on a Frenzy Barbarian. This is Sanic the Hooge Hag, and Sanic the Hooge Hag, he goes fast, okay? If you haven't seen Sanic the Hooge Hag's video, he goes really fast. Now, as you can see at this point, I have extremely high defense. Extremely high defense. I have 20,662. And if I take off something as simple as 150 defense Inferno Strides, I go down by literally almost, what is that, 2,000? 20,662 to 19,783. I mean, it's at least 1,000. At least 1,000 defense for 150. Of course, we could run it on a calculator real quick just for laughs. So we're going from oh no, my shouts wore off. No. See. Gotta get my shouts back. All right. So we're going from 19,957 to 19,108. Which basically means that 150 defense is being multiplied out to 849, which is certainly not bad at all. And this is kind of what you have to think of when you're talking about defense numbers. And as you can see, I don't even really have that high of an iron skin. I've only got level 8 iron skin. A character who has much higher iron skin could definitely get more defense out of that as well. At level 25, iron skin is 270% increase, a lot higher than the 100% increase that I'm getting right now. It is also important to note that when a monster or a player applies a negative defense effect to you, like, for instance, Conviction, or lowers defense by percentage, or things like that, it actually only is calculated based on your base defense and not off of the number that Iron Skin gives you. So, for instance, like, let's say you had, 2,000 defense, and then Iron Skin gave you another 2,000 defense because you have it at 200%. The negative percent defense would be affected by the original base number, not the new number of 4,000, which means that Iron Skin can actually offer you a measure of protection in PvE and PvP versus players who are utilizing lower defense mechanics. So keep that in mind. The only effect that I think, as far as I know, can affect the Iron Skin defense bonus is Berserk. Berserk will remove all your defense no matter what, including the bonus that is given to you by Iron Skin. They must have programmed around that specifically. And I don't know what Mr. NiNi is doing in here, but he's digging. Like, he's a miner. He's working in a coal mine, working in a coal mine, working in a coal mine. He's gonna be mine, working in a coal mine, working in a coal mine. Working in a... Get off of that thing. Working in a coal mine. Power pets. Power pets. So there's really not a lot more to go over when it comes to Iron Skin. Let's just go over it one more time just to be sure that we've got it all. So Iron Skin provides you a defense bonus, which is not affected by other defense bonuses. The defense gained by Iron Skin is not affected by negative effects like Conviction, and lowers defense by percentages. It can be used in PvP relatively effectively to protect you from other players who are utilizing such effects, like, for instance, a Conviction Paladin, or a an Amazon or something like that, who may be using percent lowering defense mechanics. We also have the natural resistance skill, which is after Iron Skin, which is very, very, very effective for barbarians, and of course means that you are almost always going to put at least 1 point into Iron Skin. It's just really a no-brainer. Iron Skin becomes one of those abilities that multiplies out defense of items and makes it so that a small amount of defense gained from an item actually ends up being a rather large number. As we saw with the Inferno Stride Wormhide boots, even just 45 extra defense can balloon out to extremely high numbers when you are looking at something like Chilling Armor, Shout, Iron Skin, Defiance. All of those things combined together can equal out to just ballooned out numbers of the original 45%. And I think most players, most barbarians, in fact, I think all barbarians for the most part, at least put 1 point into Iron Skin. Now, I don't know very many barbarians who beef up Iron Skin to their maximum. However, there are a couple builds that probably do. One of those builds is actually the Werewolf Barbarian. If you guys have never actually played around with a Werewolf Barbarians actually do not have access to any combat skill. And because of this, they tend to focus on things that will enhance their character in lieu of those abilities. So what they are looking for specifically is they are looking for passives, and they are looking for shouts. So what they do is they beef up their shouts to maximum so that they have a really, really high shout, battle orders, and battle command. They also beef up their passives so they have very high Iron Skin, very high natural resistance, and they max out a particular mastery. And in this way, they increase their capabilities as much as they possibly can before they transform into a werewolf. And then once they are in werewolf form, they can then utilize all those amazing nice effects like the Iron Skin, the natural resistance, the combat masteries, and so forth and so on. This is one reason that I can think of off the top of my head why someone would actually max Iron Skin. And if you can think of another reason why someone would max Iron Skin, put it down in the comments. It'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when I am thick-skinned and can't quite get the point across. And as always, keep watching.